In this video, we will go over the updates of our latest unique TMS release. First, we will start off during login. Users will now get a prompt to verify their email for additional security purposes. You can either click next and go through the prompts. You will receive an email with a verification code, or you can click on Remind Me Later, which will proceed to take you into the TMS. The next change we have will be in regards to the widgets of top lines and top customers, where we have added a custom date range option. So when you click into the widget and you have this intermediate zoom view, you will now have a date range down at the bottom where you will be able to adjust, click apply, and get the information that you need. As you can see, you have custom now listed once that is applied, in addition to the other defaults that we have. Next change will be in regards to our trucks and trailers. If we go into a specific asset profile here, you will see that we have now added charges and reoccurring charges as well. So this will function in a similar way to how driver charges work, and you will be able to add the type, the invoicing company that it is selected, an expense account, which is not actually required as this is not linked to anything within QuickBooks for the time being. If it is tied to a specific vendor, for example, a loan or different type of expense for a truck or a trailer, the rate, start date, end date, frequency and how often it happens, as well as a description for what it is for. Again, any reoccurring charges will be broken down to the individual charges in the charges section here. Next change we have will be in regards to order planning. So when we open up the order planning window, as you can see down at the bottom, we have made some adjustments to change our typical Monday to Monday view with locations to have a more continuous timeline option where you can better visualize your orders and do planning for them. As you can see, you will be able to toggle between different time periods, zoom in and out on the different scales that are available. You will be able to hover over the loads as well and get pertinent information such as load number, stops, rate, and the customer, and a quick access double click, which will also open up the order window here. You can toggle between the schedule and the timeline. And again, this will be our first version, so please test it out. If you have any questions, need additional explanation, do not hesitate to reach out, as this will be reflecting various planned times and actual times for pickups and deliveries as well. An additional change that we have made here on the order planning section will be a new column called Planning Notes. This will be added, if you would like, through the Visible Columns button here. And you can adjust the location of it as needed. You will be able to double click and provide any detailed notes that you would like that can help for your planning purposes, and they will be saved here as well. Next small change we have added would be under our safety section, where we have brought back the ability to actually save video files. Again, they will not be viewable within the TMS, but you can still upload them in a variety of different formats. Following change will have to do with our settlements. So if we go into our settlements history, we have now added a new option for a mass download of all PDFs. So if you click on the button at the bottom right, you will now have an option to download settlement files, which will then take you to this intermediate system window where you can select the folder where all of the individual PDFs will be saved. So instead of downloading them one by one, you can download them all at once from your filtered list. Our next change will be in regards to the IFTA report and importing miles, specifically from Trackensure. We will now be able to select a specific Excel file here, similar to how we are able to do it with other ELD providers. You will be able to get this file directly from Trackensure, and then you can upload it here to get the mileage for the corresponding assets that you need for your time period. Next change we will have will be in regards to chatting functionality. We have now added an option to send files between system users. So as you can see when you are chatting, you now have this button here where you can actually select your specific file, put in whatever message that you'd like, and that file will be sent to that specific user. With a right click, you will be able to download it. This will be limited to TMS users for now, and it will be coming out soon for the drivers. So they will be able to send those documents through specific threads as well in the near future. Our remaining changes will mostly have to do with our preferences section here. So our first one will be in regards to highlighting. And as you can see, we now have a user type selector that is tied to the notifications that would be received for any of these triggers that have to do with the highlighting. You can still decide whether you want the notifications to be on or off here, but now you can select a specific user type to receive those notifications. Obviously, if they're checked, they will, and if they are unchecked, they will not receive those notifications. Another minor change that we have made is in regards to any odometer based highlights, where if we have odometer miles passed, we will now be taking the most recent odometer reading as opposed to the highest odometer reading. So if we go to a quick example under the trucks, if there is an odometer reading, we will be taking the most recent one here, as opposed to then the highest one that was done previously. This will be helpful, especially in cases where an engine is replaced and the odometer reading may be completely different from the previous one in that same truck. Another change that we have made in regards to highlighting will be this new section here that is tied to tickets and the court date, where you will be able to provide now custom highlights as well as then notifications of when that court date for a specific ticket is approaching, as well as when it has been passed and failed and no results have been recorded. Following change in regards to our preferences will be our SendGrid integration and our new email service tab. So we have created the SendGrid integration to allow for a better mass sending of emails and decreasing some of the limitations that we have through other email providers, along with an option to now manage which email will be used for a variety of different purposes. So it can be the user-specific email, as well as which email would be used for settlement sending to the drivers, and billing and invoicing here. So you can select the corresponding one, input the email from that you would like that message to be coming from, selecting a sender display name and a reply to email. If you would like to use the standard SMTP, we will also be able to do that here by clicking custom. You can also then input the server port and login credentials as we had previously. And now you will also have an option to send a quick test email to make sure that those emails are outgoing directly from this window. Following change we have will also be in regards to our notifications. For anyone that would be using Twilio and have these creds input here, you will now get notifications to our landing page when a driver sends in a new message. And last but not least, we have made some adjustments to our ELD integration in terms of how the data will be synced and managed by our system users. So if we have any new assets that are within our ELD provider, or if we are setting up a new account, we can now dictate how those assets will be synced. And as you can see here, you can now match your drivers by either a phone number or a driver license, or trucks by their unit number or by plate and state. You can also decide whether you want that information to automatically be imported by checking these corresponding boxes for your trucks and drivers. And if you do not have these checked as well, we have a new feature which will be directly on the drivers and trucks list with an import button where you can now manage which assets you would like to be synced and therefore linked within the ELD provider and the TMS. So if you click on import, you will see now an option for any active ELD integrations that you have. So after you choose the corresponding one, you will now have a list of the ones that would be within the ELD provider, and you can pick and choose which ones you would like to import. So you can either cancel, import, and if you have, for whatever reason, some truck or driver that you would not like to be synced within the TMS, you can simply uncheck that one if you are setting up a new account, or if you have just recently added a few within your ELD and you wanted to pick and choose which ones you actually wanted to import. So this will be the same process here for the trucks as well. Import button, select your provider, click OK, and you will be able to select which ones you would like imported. And as you can see, it generates it there within the list. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out for any additional in-depth explanations. Thank you.